All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We're just going to jump right into it today.
Let's do it.
We're looking at a story that centers on a really specific, almost, I don't know, a haunting fear held by one of the wealthiest people on the planet.
And it's not the fear of going broke.
No, definitely not. If anything, it's the exact opposite. We're talking about Bill Gates.
Right.
And apparently there are 3 specific words that he is absolutely terrified of having associated with him after he dies.
And it's not he lost it all or something like that.
No. The 3 words are, he died rich.
Which, when you say it out loud, just feels like a total contradiction. I mean, Bill Gates is rich. He's the archetype.
Exactly. But that's what we're going to unpack today. We're looking at this fascinating article called Bill Gates Never Wants Anyone to Say These 3 Words About Him, Neither Do I.
And this goes way beyond just, a billionaire moving numbers around for a tax break.
Oh, yeah. This is about a fundamental shift in how we think about legacy.
It really is. We're going to get into the how, and his pledge to give away 99% of his fortune by 2045. But I think more importantly, the why.
The why is everything here.
Because to understand this deadline he set for himself, you have to understand the philosophical engine that's really driving it.
And that engine isn't new. It's built on the ideas of Warren Buffett and, well, going even further back, Andrew Carnegi.
The heavy hitters.
The Titans. So we're going to look at how their worldviews really shaped Gates and why current events involving the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, have suddenly accelerated his whole timeline.
And then we're going to turn the mirror on you, on us.
Exactly. Because the core question here isn't just for billionaires. It's for anyone who's, planning for their future.
Right. Do you want to die rich? I mean, that's a question that changes how you live today, no matter what's in your bank account.
So let's start with the big news. The headline is the timeline. We've known for a long time that Gates plans to give his money away. The giving pledge has been around for years.
Yeah, that's not new.
But he's put a date on it now.
He has. He's announced that he plans to complete the whole process, giving away 99% of his wealth by 2045.
2045, that's what, roughly 20 years from now?
In the world of massive philanthropy, that is a sprint. I mean, you have to understand, usually these huge foundations are set up to exist in perpetuity.
Yeah, forever, right.
Yeah, they invest the principal and just give away the interest, or a tiny percentage each year, so the foundation literally lives forever. Gates is doing the complete opposite.
He's doing a spend down.
A spend down. He wants the money out the door, working.
And the source material we're looking at, it highlights a really specific trigger for this new urgency, doesn't it? It's not just that he's getting older.
No, it's more immediate than that. He described the current global situation as, quote, an incredible emergency.
He did. And this is where, the political landscape today really intersects with this philanthropic mission.
For sure. The source explicitly cites DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and their recent moves to just abruptly cut off funds for life-saving work.
And this is a really crucial point to clarify for everyone. When we talk about these cuts, we're not talking about, trimming administrative waste.
No, not at all.
We're talking about global health funding, things like malaria prevention, vaccines, the kind of stuff the Gates Foundation has spent decades building the infrastructure for.
Exactly. So when a major government, like the U.S. government, pulls back its funding from those international initiatives, it just creates an immediate vacuum. It's not a slow leak, it's a sudden stop.
A cliff.
A cliff. And Gates sees this as a forcing function. If that public safety net shrinks, he feels his foundation has to sprint to fill that gap.
To prevent catastrophic loss of life.
Right. The logic is, I can't save this money for 2050 because the crisis is happening in 2026.
The need is now.
Precisely. He's accelerating the timeline because the need has accelerated. The source points out he's been thinking about speeding up his giving for years anyway, but these cuts acted as a real catalyst. It turned a long-term plan into an emergency.
It's like a high-stakes game of catch-up. But, okay, let's step back from the immediate politics for a second and look at the philosophy here.
Yeah.
Because this idea that dying rich is bad, that didn't just start with Bill Gates. He didn't invent this moral framework out of thin air.
No, he had mentors. And the most obvious one, of course, is Warren Buffett.
The Oracle. And I think most people know they're best friends now. The bridge games, the trips to Dairy Queen.
Right, the bromance is legendary.
But the source points out that Buffett was influencing Gates way back in 1991, long before they were that close.
Yeah, that's key. Gates read an article by Buffett in 91 that just, it frankly rewired his brain.
And you have to remember, 1991, Bill Gates was in full empire-building mode.
Oh, yeah. Microsoft was conquering the world. Accumulation was the entire name of the game.
So what did he read that was so transformative? What was Buffett arguing?
Buffett was arguing that leaving massive, massive sums of money to your children is essentially an act of cruelty, not an act of kindness.
Which is so counterintuitive to how 99% of parents think. I mean, we're wired to provide security.
Of course, if I leave them a mountain of cash, they'll be safe. That's the instinct.
Right.
But Buffett's perspective, and the one Gates fully adopted, is that you should leave them enough money to do anything, but not enough money to do nothing.
Ah, that's the famous line. Enough to do anything, but not enough to do nothing.
Exactly. It completely shifts the purpose of wealth. If wealth removes all challenge, it removes drive, it removes purpose. So for Gates, reading that article was the moment he started, as he put it, thinking in a generous way.
It shifted his goal from just how high can I get the score
to how effectively can I distribute the points before the game is over.
Okay, so if Buffett provided the modern context, we have to go back to the 19th century for the the moral imperative.
We have to talk about Andrew Carnegie.
You really can't discuss modern philanthropy without bringing up Carnegie.
The Gospel of Wealth.
Published in 1889.
It is the blueprint.
Yeah.
And it is not a gentle suggestion either. Carnegie was, ruthless in business, and he was just as ruthless in his philosophy on giving.
And the source quotes that one specific line that Gates says just haunts him.
The man who dies thus rich dies disgraced.
Dies disgraced. That is so heavy, it's not missed an opportunity.
No, it's disgrace. It's a moral failure.
So why such strong language?
To understand it, you have to look at the three options Carnegie laid out for wealthy people. He said you have three choices. One, you can leave it to your family.
Oh, we just covered. He hated that idea.
He thought it just spoiled the heirs and burdened them. Okay, option two, you leave it to the public, but only at your death. You put it in your will.
So you fund a library or a hospital, but only after you're gone.
Exactly. And Carnegie rejected that too. He argued that if you wait until you're dead, you're just giving away what you can no longer keep.
There's no virtue in it.
No virtue, no sacrifice. Plus, you're relying on other people to administer it. And who knows if they'll get it right.
Which leaves option three.
Administering it during your own lifetime. Overseeing the distribution yourself. Carnegie believed the wealthy were basically trustees of the community's money.
Huh, trustee.
The community allowed you to get that rich, so you have a moral duty to return that value efficiently before you check out.
So if you're still sitting on the pile when the clock runs out, you have failed in your duty as a trustee.
You've failed. You've died disgraced.
And that is exactly what Bill Gates is trying to outrun. He's approaching his 8th decade. He's looking at the calendar, he's looking at the sheer volume of assets he has, and he's realizing, if I don't sprint, I'm going to lose this race.
It's a race against his own net worth, which is constantly growing.
And I have to play the skeptic for a second here, because the numbers are just so astronomical.
Go for it.
Let's look at the reality of this poverty he's aiming for. His current net worth is listed in the source around $108 billion.
Give or take a few billion, depending on the day, yeah.
So if he succeeds, if he actually gives away 99% of that, he's left with 1%.
Which is $1.08 billion.
He's still a billionaire.
He is.
He still dies rich.
He does. And the source material is very self-aware about this irony. It points out that even if Gates achieves his goal of not dying rich by his own standards,
by the standards of literally every other person on the planet, he is still dying incredibly wealthy.
Absolutely.
So is this whole thing just semantics? Is he just playing a word game?
I don't think so. I think the source makes a really compelling argument here. Rich is a relative term.
Sure.
To someone who's struggling to put food on the table, a middle-class retiree is rich. To that retiree, a decamillionaire is rich.
It's always the person a few rungs up the ladder.
Right. But the distinction the article makes is about intent and flow. It's about the mindset. Is the money stagnant? Is it being hoarded for some sense of power or security? Or is it being deployed?
Is it in motion?
Is it in motion? That the math might say Gates is still rich, but the action says he is trying to empty the tank before he goes.
It's the difference between a dam and a river. He wants to be a river.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've established the billionaire context, but the article does something really smart at this point. It pivots to the reader. It pivots to you.
It asks the question, Do you want to die rich?
And this is where the conversation gets a little uncomfortable for, normal people, because unlike Gates, we don't have $100 billion to worry about. We have mortgages and tuition.
And retirement accounts that we hope last.
Right. And my immediate gut reaction to that question is, yes, absolutely, I do. I want to die knowing my family is secure. I want to die knowing I didn't run out of money at 85 and become a burden.
And that is 100% valid.
Mm.
The source explicitly validates that point. It says for many, many people, dying rich, in the sense of having assets left over, is a noble goal. It represents security. It represents love.
So Carnegie's disgrace rule doesn't really apply to the person who saved up to leave their grandkids a college fund.
No, of course not. Carnegie was yelling at the titans of industry. But, and this is the big but, the article challenges us to look at where security ends and maybe hoarding begins.
The enough point.
The enough point, exactly. So let's say you're in a position where your kids are grown and self-sufficient. The house is paid off. You have your health covered.
Your needs are met.
Your needs are met. If you are still accumulating just to see the number go up, or if you're denying yourself experiences or denying your community help just to keep that safety blanket tight, that's where the question really hits home.
And the author of the piece, she shares her own list, right? She admits she's probably never going to be financially rich by any Gates-like definition.
Right.
But she has this list of things she wants people to say about her legacy when she's gone.
And not a single one of them is financial. She lists things like, I had a happy marriage. I made a difference to the people I loved. I changed lives with my writing. I traveled and learned.
It's a list of impact, not a list of inventory.
It completely forces you to redefine the word rich. Is a rich life one where you leave the biggest possible estate? Or is a rich life one where you exhausted your resources, your time, your energy, your love, and, yeah, your money to make the world around you better while you were still here?
You know that saying, you never see a U-Haul behind a hearse.
You can't take it with you. Classic.
But I think Gates and this author, they're taking it a step further. They're not just saying, you can't take it with you. They're saying, don't just leave it behind. Send it out ahead of you.
Use it now. See the impact now.
Which brings up this really interesting tension between legacy and security. We tend to think of legacy as, the money we leave in the will.
The number at the end.
Right. But this article argues that true legacy is what you do while you're still breathing.
Think about it this way. If you leave a charity $10,000 in your will, that's a great thing. But if you gave that same charity $10,000 today,
you get to see what they do with it.
You get to be part of the solution. And, just as importantly, maybe that money's needed now, like with the global health cuts, more than it will be needed in 20 years.
There's that urgency again.
Right. The urgency isn't just for billionaires. The world has problems now. Your community has needs now. Your family, your friends, they have needs now.
So let's bring this all back to the listener. We've gone from the stratosphere of Bill Gates and DOGE cuts all the way down to our own bank accounts. The author poses a challenge, asking us to write our own list.
If he died rich or she died rich isn't on your list, what is?
And I want to throw a final thought experiment out there. This is something that really struck me reading through this.
Okay, let's hear it.
We hold back because we're scared, right? We're scared of the future. We don't know if we'll need that money for a medical emergency or some rainy day.
It's the scarcity mindset. It's totally natural.
But just imagine this. Imagine you knew, for a fact, crystal ball style, that you were going to die rich, no matter what. You knew that no matter what you spent or gave away today, you would still have plenty left at the very end. You're 100% safe.
Okay, so the fear variable is gone.
The fear is gone. If you knew that, would it change how you act right now, today?
That is a powerful question.
Would you tip that server 50% instead of 20%? Would you write that check to the local food bank today instead of just thinking about it? Would you take your family on that trip now while everyone's healthy instead of saving it for someday?
I mean, I think for most people, the honest answer is yes. Wow. Yes, I would be more generous. Yes, I would be less tight-fisted with my time, my money, everything.
And so, if the answer is yes, I would act differently, then it forces us to ask, why aren't we? Are we letting a fear of a future that might not even happen steal the impact we could be having right now?
We're all just waiting for some safe amount of money that never actually arrives.
Because no amount ever feels truly safe.
Exactly. Gates has $108 billion, and he's still worried about the timeline. It is never about the number. It's about the mindset.
And that's the real takeaway, I think. You don't need billions to adopt the Carnegie mindset. You just need to decide that you're a trustee of your own resources, however big or small they are.
And that your job is to put them to good use before your time is up.
So as you go about your week, maybe think about those 3 words. He died rich. If that's not what you want on your tombstone, start spending down your wealth, whether that's your money, your time, or your kindness right now.
Send it out ahead of you.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Take care, everyone.